Most people overcomplicate attraction. They think it's about looks, money, status, or saying the perfect line. But let me tell you something. Real connection isn't about what you have, it's about how you make people feel. And sometimes just 4 simple words can disarm someone's defenses, open their heart, and make them drawn to you instantly. Today, I'm going to show you how, and once you learn this, you'll never look at conversations the same way again. We live in a world where people believe the more you say, the more powerful you'll sound. The louder you talk, the more attention you'll get. The more words you stack up, the more intelligent you'll appear. But here's the truth. Connection doesn't live in complexity. Connection lives in simplicity. Attraction doesn't come from rehearsing 10 different lines in the mirror, memorizing clever phrases, or trying to string together the perfect poetic sentence. Attraction comes from those short, simple, real moments that cut through the noise. And that's why 4 words, delivered the right way, can do more than 100 sentences ever could. Think about it. How many times have you sat through someone rambling, explaining themselves over and over, and you're just waiting for it to end? You're not engaged, you're not drawn in, you're checked out. But then there are those moments when someone says something so small, so clear, so honest, that it sticks with you. It makes you pause. It makes you lean in. That's the power of simplicity. We underestimate it because we're conditioned to believe more equals better. But in reality, less spoken with authenticity carries more weight than more spoken with insecurity. People don't remember long speeches, they remember the moments that pierced through. They remember the words that hit straight to the heart. That's why when you strip down all the fluff, when you remove the need to impress, you leave space for something more valuable: presence. Presence is magnetic. When someone feels that you're not cluttered by trying too hard, that you're not overcomplicating, but instead you're simple and direct, it makes them feel safe. And safety is attractive. Now here's what's interesting. Simplicity isn't weakness, it's strength. Anyone can ramble. Anyone can pile words on top of words to try and sound like they know what they're talking about. But it takes confidence to hold back. It takes confidence to say less, to believe that a few words spoken with intention will land more powerfully than 1,000 words of filler. And when people feel that, when they sense that strength, they are drawn to it. Because everyone wants to be around someone who's grounded, someone who doesn't need to put on a show to be noticed. And that's where the magic of those 4 words comes in. When you strip away everything else, you realize attraction isn't built on impressing, it's built on connection. You don't need to dress it up. You don't need to rehearse it like a script. You just need to be real. Those 4 words work because they're simple. They're not trying too hard. They cut right through all the noise, and people feel that. They feel you're not here to perform, you're here to connect. And in today's world, where everyone's fighting to be seen and heard, that's rare. And because it's rare, it's powerful. So the next time you feel like you need to come up with the perfect thing to say to get someone's attention, remind yourself that you don't. It's not about crafting a masterpiece. It's about showing up with something simple, clear, and genuine. 4 words can do more to attract someone than an entire rehearsed speech ever could, if you mean them. That's the power of simplicity, and that's where the real spark begins. At the root of every interaction, every conversation, every relationship, there is one thing people crave more than anything else: the desire to feel seen. Not just looked at, not just noticed in passing, but really seen, like who they are matters, like their story has value, like their presence carries weight. It doesn't matter how strong, confident, or independent someone appears on the outside. Deep down, every human being carries that same longing to be understood and valued. And when you're the person who can meet that need, attraction becomes effortless. Think about the last time someone made you feel invisible. Maybe you were talking and they were distracted. Maybe you shared something important and it got brushed off. That moment doesn't just sting, it leaves an imprint. It reinforces that nagging thought that maybe you don't matter as much as you hoped. Now flip that experience. Think about a time when someone leaned in, looked at you like your words mattered, like your story was worth listening to. That moment doesn't just feel good. It stays with you. You remember it because you felt valued. That's what people are craving, and most of the time, they're not getting it. Here's where the power of words comes into play. 4 simple words can be the bridge that takes someone from feeling unseen to feeling recognized. When you communicate genuine interest, when you show them through your words that their life and their perspective matter, you light something inside of them. It's not about flattery. It's not about charm. It's about recognition. And recognition is magnetic. The beauty of this truth is that it doesn't require you to be extraordinary. You don't have to have the perfect look, the perfect line, or the perfect background. All you have to do is give someone the gift of feeling seen. Most people are so consumed with trying to stand out themselves that they forget the real key to attraction is helping others feel like they stand out. When you shift the focus off of yourself and onto the person in front of you, everything changes. That's when walls drop. That's when hearts open. That's when people feel a connection they didn't even know they were missing. And it's not just about romance. It's universal. Whether it's friends, coworkers, strangers, or loved ones, the principle remains the same. The people who leave an impression are not the ones who talk the most or shine the brightest. They're the ones who made others feel like they mattered. Because in a world where everyone is busy trying to be noticed, the rarest and most attractive quality is being the one who notices. When you understand this, you stop chasing attention and you start creating it. You don't have to demand someone's interest. You draw it out naturally by giving them something they rarely receive. The moment they feel seen, their energy shifts, their guard softens, their connection to you deepens. And what made it happen? Just a few words that communicated, I see you. I value you. I want to know more about you. That's the quiet secret of attraction. It's not about showing off who you are. It's about showing someone else who they are. That's why when you master the art of making people feel seen, you won't have to chase connection. Connection will find its way to you. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're trying to attract others is putting all the focus on themselves. They walk into conversations thinking, how do I look? How do I sound? Am I impressive enough? Do they like me? And without even realizing it, that energy takes over. Every word becomes a performance. Every sentence is about proving something. But here's the thing, attraction doesn't grow when the spotlight is glued to you. It grows when you shift that spotlight onto the other person. The truth is, people are naturally drawn to those who make them feel important. Nobody is walking around thinking, I hope I meet someone tonight who talks about themselves nonstop. We all know what that feels like. You're standing there while the other person brags, lists their accomplishments, or turns every story back to themselves, and the whole time you're silently planning your escape. You're not pulled closer, you're pushed away. But when someone enters a conversation and makes it about you, when they give you their attention and show genuine interest, everything changes. You feel lighter, more open, more comfortable. And in that comfort, attraction naturally starts to build. What's powerful about this shift is that it takes the pressure off. You don't have to be the funniest person in the room. You don't have to deliver perfect lines, and you don't have to prove your worth in every sentence. Instead, your job becomes simple: create space for the other person to shine. Let them talk about what excites them. Let them share what matters to them. Let them feel like their presence isn't just tolerated, it's appreciated. That's where the spark lives. And the irony is, when you stop trying to impress, you become more impressive. When you stop working to be interesting, you instantly become more interested. And that's far more attractive, because people can feel the difference. They can sense when you're listening with an agenda, waiting for your turn to speak, versus when you're actually there, present, and tuned in. And here's what happens. When they feel that, when they sense that you're not just there to get something, but to give something, their walls come down. They don't just like you, they trust you. And trust is the foundation of any real connection. This is where those 4 words we've been talking about carry so much weight. Tell me about you. They shift the energy instantly. They remove the spotlight from you and place it firmly on the other person. And here's the secret. People never forget how you made them feel. They may forget the details of the conversation, they may forget the exact words, but they will never forget that feeling of being seen, valued, and invited to share. And once they've felt that with you, they'll crave being around you again. So instead of asking, how can I make them like me? Ask, how can I make them feel like they matter? Because the more you shift your attention from proving yourself to appreciating them, the stronger the bond you create. Attraction isn't about pulling someone toward you. It's about creating an atmosphere where they want to come closer on their own. That's the quiet power of taking the focus off yourself and putting it where it belongs on them. When people hear the idea that just 4 words can change the way someone feels about you, they often expect something flashy, clever, or poetic. They imagine it has to be some secret phrase that nobody else knows, a kind of magic formula that instantly unlocks attraction. But that's not how human connection works. The words that carry the most weight are the ones that are simple, sincere, and universal. And the 4 words that hold more power than you realize are, tell me about you. It sounds almost too easy, but that's the beauty of it. Those words are an invitation, and invitations are powerful. They tell the other person, I'm not here to perform. I'm not here to make this conversation about me. I'm here to listen. I'm here to know you. In a world where everyone is fighting to be heard, those 4 words cut through the noise and offer something people rarely receive. Space. Space to share who they are without judgment, without interruption, without someone waiting to turn the spotlight back on themselves. That space is magnetic because it makes people feel safe, and safety is where attraction takes root. Think about it. How often do you get the chance to really talk about yourself without someone rushing in to give their opinion, tell their story, or compare their experiences to yours? It doesn't happen often. Most conversations are a tug of war, each person pulling the attention back to their side. But when someone looks at you and says, tell me about you, the tension disappears. Suddenly, it's not a competition. It's not a performance. It's an open door, and most people are starving for a door like that. What makes those 4 words so powerful isn't just the phrase itself. It's what comes after. It's the way you listen. It's the way you lean in, nod, and genuinely take in what they're saying. Because here's the truth, people don't fall for the words, they fall for the feeling behind the words. Tell me about you works because it's not a trick, it's an act of curiosity. And curiosity communicates something that no amount of bragging ever could. You matter to me. And here's where the magic starts to multiply. The moment you invite someone to share about themselves, you give them a chance to open up. The more they share, the more connected they feel to you, because vulnerability builds intimacy. And it didn't happen because you dazzled them with your story. It happened because you gave them permission to tell theirs. That permission is rare. That permission is valuable. And that permission is unforgettable. You don't have to force connection. You don't have to chase it or demand it. All you have to do is create an atmosphere where it can naturally grow. Tell me about you does exactly that. It tells someone that they are worth your attention, worth your time, worth your focus. And when someone feels worth something in your presence, they will always want to come back. So remember, attraction isn't about having the perfect line. It's not about dazzling someone with what you can say. It's about what you can invite them to say. 4 words. Simple, sincere, and powerful. And when you use them with honesty, you'll notice that people aren't just interested in you. They're drawn to you. The truth is, those 4 words alone are not enough. You can say, tell me about you. And yes, they'll open the door. But if you're not really listening, if you're just nodding your head while planning what you're going to say next, the impact disappears. Because people don't just hear your words, they feel your presence. They know if you're distracted, they know if you're pretending, and they know if you're only half there. Listening is what turns those 4 words from a phrase into a force. Without listening, it's empty. With listening, it's magnetic. Listening is more than silence. It's more than waiting for your turn. Real listening is active. It's leaning in, making eye contact, and showing through your body language that what they're saying matters to you. It's the subtle nod, the slight smile, the way your energy shifts to meet theirs. It's asking questions that go a little deeper, not to pry, but to show that you actually care about the details of their story. Because when someone feels you listening like that, they feel valued in a way most people never make them feel. And that's where attraction comes alive. Think about the last time someone really listened to you. Maybe they didn't interrupt. Maybe they remembered something small you said and brought it up later. That didn't just make you feel heard. It made you feel important. And importance is what people chase. Not money, not status, not looks, importance. If you can give someone the gift of feeling important, they will be drawn to you again and again. The challenge is that most people don't know how to listen because they're too busy trying to be interesting. They're preparing their response, thinking about their story, waiting for the moment to take the spotlight back. But here's the irony: the most interesting people are the ones who are the most interested. When you shift your focus from "how do I sound" to "how do they feel," you change the dynamic completely. You stop competing for attention and start creating connection, and that is far more attractive than anything you could ever say about yourself. And here's something powerful: listening builds trust. When someone feels like you actually care about what they're sharing, they let their guard down, they reveal more, they become more vulnerable. And vulnerability is the bridge to closeness. You didn't force it, you didn't demand it, you earned it simply by being present. That presence makes people feel safe, and safety, combined with value, creates a bond that's hard to break. So when you ask someone, "Tell me about you," don't just hear their words, absorb them. Repeat back a little of what they said. Ask them how that felt, remember it for later. Let them see that what they shared landed somewhere inside of you. Because when they see that, when they feel that, they'll know you're not just passing time, you're invested. And being around someone who's invested feels different. It feels rare. And rarity is always attractive. That's why listening is the secret ingredient. The words open the door, but listening is what keeps it open. It's what turns a moment into a memory and a conversation into a connection. And when you master that, you don't have to chase people. They'll chase the feeling they get when they're with you. Attraction can spark in a moment, but what makes it last is consistency. You can use those 4 words to open a door. You can listen deeply to build trust. But if you only show up once and then vanish, the connection fades. People don't just fall for words, they fall for patterns. They fall for the way you consistently make them feel. And that's why consistency is one of the most powerful forces in attraction. It's the difference between a spark that burns out and a flame that keeps growing. Think about it. Anyone can say something sweet once. Anyone can show interest when it's convenient. But what truly stands out is when you continue showing up with the same energy, the same sincerity, the same attention, time after time. That's when people realize you're not just playing a role or saying the right thing in the moment. You actually care. That kind of consistency is rare, and when people find it, they don't want to let it go. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. You don't have to have the right words every single time or be flawless in how you communicate. It means showing up with the same genuine intention. It means backing up your words with actions. If you say, "Tell me about you," then remember what they told you. Bring it up later. Ask how that project went, how their day turned out, how they're really feeling. Those small follow-ups speak louder than anything you could ever say in the moment. They tell the other person, I didn't just hear you, I kept you with me. And that is deeply attractive. What consistency really builds is safety. People can't open up to someone who feels unpredictable, someone who seems interested one day and absent the next. But when you create a steady presence, when they know you'll show up with the same sincerity every time, that safety lets them relax into the connection. They stop questioning your motives. They stop wondering if it's real. They trust it. And trust is the foundation that allows attraction to deepen into something stronger. Another powerful truth is that consistency sets you apart. So many people only give effort in the beginning, when they're trying to win someone over, when they want something, when it's new and exciting. But the moment the effort fades, so does the connection. When you stay consistent long after the first spark, you prove that your interest isn't temporary. That makes you different, and difference is magnetic. People aren't just drawn to you in the moment, they're drawn to the stability you represent. And the beauty of it is, consistency isn't complicated. It's not about grand gestures or dramatic statements. It's in the little things repeated over time, the steady presence, the follow-up text, the remembering of details, the continued curiosity about their world. Those small acts, stacked up again and again, build something no flashy line could ever compete with. Because while words can impress, it's consistency that earns trust, and trust is what keeps people